Plato, student of Socrates, teacher of Aristotle, and one of the most influential philosophers in human history. His wisdom has shaped not only Western philosophy, but the very way we think about knowledge, justice, love, politics, and the human soul. Born in Athens around 428 BC, Plato lived in a time of great political turmoil, war, and societal change. Yet from the chaos of his era, he offered something enduring, a vision of life that demanded not just success, but meaning, truth, and virtue. In a world driven by noise, distraction, and superficiality, Plato's ideas are more relevant today than ever before. At the core of Plato's philosophy is his belief in the existence of a higher, invisible reality, a realm of perfect forms or ideas. For Plato, everything in the physical world is merely a shadow of these perfect forms. A beautiful painting is only a reflection of the perfect form of beauty. A just law is only a pale echo of perfect justice. This theory, known as the theory of forms, teaches us a crucial modern lesson. Don't get lost in appearances. Seek what is real, lasting, and pure. In today's world of Instagram filters, shallow opinions, and 24/7 media, Plato's call to look beyond the surface is nothing short of revolutionary. He reminds us that what is popular is not always true, and what is trending is not always good. Plato believed that the soul is immortal and divided into three parts: reason, spirit, and appetite. Reason seeks truth, spirit drives ambition and courage, while appetite craves pleasure and comfort. A just and happy life, according to Plato, is one where reason rules over the other two. This internal harmony is mirrored in society. In his famous work, The Republic, Plato imagined a society where people are divided into three classes: rulers, warriors, and producers, each playing their role for the good of the whole. The lesson is clear. Whether in your own soul or in society, peace comes from balance. When appetite, our endless craving for wealth, status, and pleasure, rules over reason, chaos follows. Look around our modern world and you'll see exactly that. One of Plato's most powerful ideas is found in his allegory of the cave. In it, he describes prisoners who've lived their whole lives chained in a dark cave, watching shadows on a wall. These shadows are all they know. One day, a prisoner escapes and sees the real world: the sun, trees, mountains, truth itself. When he returns to free the others, they resist. They're so attached to their illusions, they fear the truth. This is Plato's warning. Most people live in ignorance, clinging to comforting lies. Only a few dare to question, to leave the cave and see the light. In 2025, where misinformation spreads faster than truth and echo chambers are stronger than ever, Plato's cave is not just a metaphor, it's a mirror. Are you living in shadows, or are you seeking the sun? Another vital area of Plato's wisdom is his view on education. For him, true education wasn't about filling the mind with facts, but about turning the soul toward the light. He wrote, "The object of education is to teach us to love what is beautiful." Today, education often means memorizing data for tests, but Plato reminds us that wisdom isn't about knowledge, it's about transformation. We must train ourselves to love truth, justice, and beauty, not just acquire skills. Imagine a world where education was about developing character and conscience, not just producing workers. That's the Platonic dream. In Love, Plato offered something equally profound. In his dialogue, The Symposium, he explores the idea of Platonic love, a deep connection that transcends physical desire. True love, for Plato, is a force that pulls us toward the divine. When you're truly in love, you don't just desire the other person's body. You're drawn to their soul, to their goodness, to something eternal through them. In a time where love is often reduced to swipes, games, and temporary highs, Plato challenges us to think bigger. Real love, he says, helps us grow, evolve, and reach towards something greater than ourselves. Politically, Plato was skeptical of democracy, especially after watching Athens condemn his beloved teacher Socrates to death. He believed that most people are not fit to rule because they are driven by emotions, not reason. Instead, he proposed the idea of the philosopher king, a ruler guided by wisdom and virtue. While we may not agree with all of Plato's politics, his deeper message still resonates. Leadership must be based on wisdom, not popularity. In today's world of viral politicians, empty slogans, and media spin, this lesson is more important than ever. Imagine a world where leaders were chosen not for their image, but for their depth of thought, integrity, and love for truth. Plato also teaches us how to deal with injustice. He believed that the just person is happy, even if they suffer, while the unjust person is miserable, even if they appear successful. He argued that doing wrong harms the soul more than being wronged ever could. In a society obsessed with winning at all costs, Plato reminds us, it's better to suffer injustice than to commit it. He challenges us to live with moral integrity, to be just not because it benefits us, but because it shapes who we are. As he wrote, justice in the life and conduct of the state is possible only as first it resides in the hearts and souls of the citizens. Now let's look at some timeless quotes from Plato that continue to inspire thinkers, leaders, and seekers of truth. The beginning is the most important part of the work. A powerful reminder to take the first step seriously, whether you're starting a habit, a relationship, or a life transformation. Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something. A striking observation in our age of social media, where noise often drowns out meaning. Courage is knowing what not to fear. True strength, Plato tells us, comes not from aggression, but from clarity. Know what to fear and what to rise above. The measure of a man is what he does with power. A quote that every leader should live by. Real character is revealed not when we're weak, but when we're strong. An empty vessel makes the loudest sound. A poetic warning about arrogance and ignorance. Those who know the least often speak the most. So what can we learn from Plato today? First, that wisdom begins with humility. The more you think you know, the less you learn. Second, that truth is not always comfortable, but it is always worth pursuing. Third, that the soul matters more than the body, and virtue more than success. Fourth, that real love and friendship are not about possession, but about mutual growth. And finally, that in a world full of illusions, the greatest act of courage is to seek the light. In this video, we've explored Plato's core ideas, from the theory of forms and the allegory of the cave, to his views on justice, love, education, politics, and the soul. We've seen how his quotes still guide us, and how his vision of a balanced life offers deep solutions to our modern problems. You don't need a toga or a scroll to live like a philosopher. All you need is the courage to ask the hard questions, the humility to admit what you don't know, and the passion to pursue a life of meaning, not just comfort. Plato once said, "The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men." In 2025, with so much at stake, from technology and politics to relationships and truth itself, his warning still holds weight. Don't just be a spectator. Think, reflect, act. So, are you ready to leave the cave?